Hi, my name is Zoe and I'm one half of Rota Frame. Stu and I have cycled from the UK to Malaysia right now. I'm currently sat in a hotel in Malaysia. As I create this for you, we've done like 15,000 miles, something like that. And it's been an incredible journey so far. What I'm going to share with you today is a big old spreadsheet to help you plan your own world cycling tour. There are a couple of things I want to say before we get into this. So first of all, a world cycling tour needs far less planning than you could ever imagine. But I think when you're planning your first one, you do have questions that you want to answer. Like you need to know roughly how much money you need. You need to know roughly what you need to take. And whilst you could just leave your house with a bike and a bit of kit, I think it helps to have a bit of a plan. And the second thing is we planned a lot and we're both quite natural planners. So if you're looking at this plan thinking, oh, this is just like a bit excessive for me, that is obviously completely fine. It isn't necessary to plan like this. It's just what we wanted to do and what we like to do. And we've actually used this spreadsheet or a version of it for both halves of our trip. So we like it. So we want to put it out there for you. So the first thing you need to do when you get to this sheet is you need to go to File and you need to make a copy. If you start asking for like edit permissions or anything like that, I'm obviously not going to give that to you because we want this to be available for everyone who finds it. And I obviously can't have random people on the internet just editing this document. So this will be like the master. You make your copy and store it digitally on Google Drive, or you can probably go to download as well, actually, so File and then download the sheet. Okay, so first of all, this is the pre-trip to-do list. I'm probably going to keep building on this as I go, but you can add to it as well and customize this and make it your own because you might have different tasks that you need to do that we didn't. But in here, I've just put like a checklist of things that you should do before you leave. So for example, order a new bank card. So your bank cards have a long expiry on. You don't want to get 3 months into your trip and then have to get a bank card posted to a random place. Make sure your passport's got enough expiry on it. Get yourself to the dentist, make sure you're in tip-top shape to embark on your adventure, all this type of stuff. So that's in the pre-trip to-do list, just to help you keep on top of everything. Next is a kit list. So instead of putting it into the Excel spreadsheet, I've actually just linked to the relevant pages on our website. You can find the full kit list here. We literally put everything we took on here. So if you were to buy all of this, you would want for nothing. Some of it's going to be too much for some of you, but we obviously like what we have. This is the large kit list, if you like. We take this obviously on the world tour and we take a slightly smaller version of it to do John O'Groats Land's End, cycling the Outer Hebrides, anything like that. So yeah, this is a solid base kit list. Everything's been separated into categories. So you've got cooking and camping, tents, sleeping bags, stoves, all that kind of stuff. Bags and luggage, that's the panniers and frame bags that we use, the clothes we wore, the electronics we took from power banks, phones to other bits and pieces, laptops, etc. Tools and spares, and then other bits. There's a full video here where I go through everything that we took, pretty much item by item, so you can really see what we liked and that we've got that stuff with us. I think when we took this, we were in Vietnam, I think. Might have been Cambodia, actually. I think we were in Cambodia. So yeah, loads of good stuff there. And then as you click into the individual categories, you'll come to a page like this, again with the video. That will take you directly to the camping and cooking section of that video. And you can see the items we bought, even the weight of the items, because we were very, as I say, we planned a lot. And then you can see a few notes if there was anything notable to say. And if you click the link, it'll open up to where you can buy that product from as well. So that's that one, nice and useful. This next sheet here is a full itinerary. This document is crazy. It's really big, but we absolutely love this. It's so useful. So anything in grey is going to auto-populate, so you don't actually have to worry about those sections. All you need to do is fill in the white cells. So here, there's a full explainer on how to use this document. But I'm going to run through it in this video quickly. So let's say you're doing your cycle trip and you're going to the UK. You would put your country in here. I've actually linked to our routes as well, by the way. So if you were going to France and you wanted a route, you can use ours as a bit of inspiration. It shows you the exact route that we took. So this is the route we took, not necessarily the route that we planned. although in France we actually stuck to our route. Some of them change. And then there's like the stats here as well. So it shows you the days we were cycling, hours on bike, even our average speed, average distances, and the total distance within that country. So if you're not sure how many miles your country is going to be, we might be able to help you if you're cycling a similar route to us. So yeah, you can use that. So you put in the UK, you put in the distance that you're planning to do in that country. So for us, it was 300 miles. Always use this as include. And then this data is always going to automatically populate. And then you need to enter the date that you're going to travel. So, let's say we were planning to go in April, and you'll see all these dates change now based on the information that I just put in there. What you will also need to do is estimate your daily distance. So we actually work on a daily distance of 50 miles per day cycling on average. Obviously, some days we do like 100, other days we do like 10, and then a daily budget. So as you can see, as you play around with these figures, you will be able to see how your budget changes. And there's also some like core stats down here. So total distance, total days cycling, and total days resting, and then those days added together. And this is, if you were to put in your whole route here, as we've got, obviously you might cycle to different countries, you'll be able to see how this changes. So at the moment, we're cycling for 617 days total to do all of these. So what's that, like nearly 2 years? And if we're working on a budget of £40 per day, we need to save 24,000 to do this trip. But if we were to increase our average distance, you can see the price goes down, obviously because we're going to be getting through the countries faster. You can also alter your daily budget. So if I were to lower this from 40 to 20, for example, you'll see that drops down to just £8,000. If you can do a lot of camping and you can cycle 80 miles per day, that would be your cost to go to all of these countries. So there we go. You can customize this very much to your own trip. Then you're going to get a reasonable idea of what it might cost to cycle around the world, bearing in mind that if you're going to do like a big trip through Europe and Asia, then in Asia you'll be able to spend much less, and in Europe you'll spend a bit more for obvious reasons. And then the only other thing to think about with your budget is your flights. So this is what this document is for. Now, obviously, your flights are really hard to estimate because if you're like us, we cycled all the way to Singapore before we took our first flight, or at least we would have done if not for COVID. One thing we did to try and give us some kind of idea what the flights might cost was we just used Skyscanner to run through a quote. So I looked at the flights from the airport we planned to depart from to the airport we planned to arrive in, and I looked at the next day and the 1 month in advance, and then you can see what you can save potentially by booking in advance. And in nearly every circumstance, apart from one, it was cheaper to book a month in advance. So this is something we might bear in mind when booking flights, that we try and book in advance rather than trying to do that next day booking. So it won't be perfect, but it'll be some kind of a gauge. So then you would just need to take a look at your itinerary, add on your flights. And if you do this as well, you can look at whether different airports are cheaper. Maybe even it might be worth going to another country to get a cheaper flight from somewhere. You can just really mess around with your budget and customize this spreadsheet so that it works for your trip. I hope this is helpful. I don't want to go too much into detail in case this video gets rambly, but if you want more information, please don't hesitate to let me know, because I'll create a new video or I'll add data to the spreadsheet, whatever you need. Obviously, the goal of this is very much to help you plan your cycle trip around the world. So I want it to do just that and be like a really, really useful document. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again. Bye-bye.